And then we're gonna talk about the time that I was a high-end hooker, but I didn't know it. Hey everybody, it's me, Kathy Griffin. Welcome to Kathy Griffin Talk Your Head Off. Now we've got to talk about Biebergate. That's right, Justin Bieber, Hailey Bieber, Hailey Baldwin, Selena Gomez, Selena Blanco, all of them. I'm in. I'm back into the whole thing. We're taking a deep dive. Okay, so first of all, I admit I am a big scroller on social media, and I know it's not real news and stuff, but I am so into the Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, Hailey Baldwin possible stalker of Justin Bieber. And I know I should be above it, but I'm just not. There's a TikTok series, or at least they call it a series. In my day, it wasn't a series. In my day, a series was the Waltons. All right, good night, John Boy. Anyway, there's a bunch of clips that somebody put together, and it's making the rounds, showing Hailey Bieber, who was Hailey Baldwin, Stephen Baldwin's daughter from the Alec Baldwin acting dynasty family. She is on camera being introduced to Justin Bieber when Biebs was like 15 or something, and he had the swoop hair. Remember, his bangs were like not terribly unlike mine right now. She acted a little disinterested, but then her dad, Stephen, who's very Jesus-y, and I believe was a member of a church which has been likened to a cult called Hillsong. And I'm obsessed with Hillsong. There's documentaries about it, docu-series about it. And by the way, any church that wants a percentage of your income is never gonna get me. Good luck tithing this bitch. Never, not gonna happen. So someone went to the work of finding every clip. I don't even know how they found these obscure clips of Justin Bieber on the red carpet for something, and then there'd be Hailey Baldwin holding up like a fan magazine, like an old-fashioned fan magazine with a picture of Biebs and then a very young Selena Gomez, who, by the way, has announced she's too old for this shit. She made a video. There was a scuffle like a year ago or something with Hailey Bieber. I'm 30 years old. I'm too old for this shit. And I thought, honey, wait till you're 64. You're never too old for this shit. Anyway, Selena Gomez has found love with a gentleman named Benny Blanco, who is an, how shall I say, atypical type of man that you would picture with a Selena Gomez. And I'm paraphrasing, but I did see one interview with him, which was charming, when he said, when I look at all my facial features, I can't believe how ugly I am, but somehow when I mash them up, then I'm accidentally hot or something. But it's like a charming way that he's saying, I get it, she's the hot one. I think we are all rooting for Selena Gomez and think she was put through it with the Beliebers. I've known her since she was a teenager. I don't know her well, but I would run into her at things. And I remember one time I was on a red carpet and Selena Gomez comes up behind me and we had met, so we hugged. And then she had all these bodyguards with her because the Beliebers kept threatening to kill her because they loved Justin so much they wanted to kill her. So I remember saying to her, God, you got more bodyguards than Barack Obama. And she looked at me, she goes, really? I was like, no, I'm kidding. I'm teasing you, but seriously, you have like more bodyguards than anybody here. Those Beliebers are pretty hardcore, huh? And she just didn't want to talk anymore about it. So I'm glad the Beliebers have calmed down, because I do remember that phase. To put someone's life in danger because of your idol is a little twisted, unless your name is Hailey Baldwin, am I right? Allegedly. All right, this is all alleged. If I haven't mentioned that enough, I mean, I named one of my specials allegedly. Okay, that's how much this is all alleged. It's possible that Justin Bieber, superstar, is in a modern day arranged marriage, which he himself has joked about many times publicly. Think about it. You guys, it might be possible between one of the churches that does the tithing and possibly Stephen Baldwin having an agenda. It's odd to see a dad take his very young daughter who looks so different. Let me just say this, as someone who's had stuff done, look, Hailey Bieber is a beautiful girl, okay? I think she has a makeup line, and she probably has a clothing line, and she has a smoothie at Air One, which, can we just stop for a second? Why in the world would I want a Hailey Bieber smoothie? And I think they're $25. So I don't get that. I'm just saying that Hailey Bieber has had so much work done, I think, in the filler department. And fillers, I don't know. I have no fillers. I have no Botox. My skin is so thin, it doesn't do anything on me. I am fascinated how Hailey Bieber has changed like the shape of her head. Her whole head looks different, you guys. I mean, she looks like a different person. She doesn't look like Hailey Baldwin, who's now a few years older. She looks like she's from a different family. She's from the Smiths or the Joneses. Maybe she was Haley Anderson. Maybe she was Haley McIntyre. I don't know, but anyway, that's the trend. And I'm just saying, as an older person, it's just funny to see young people getting so many fillers. The Selena Gomez, Benny Blanco collab has songs on it that are allegedly about Hailey. And they're all kind of hinty, like, oh, you sauntered up to me, sweetie, at this party, and you thought you had him, but he'll never get over me, or whatever. I don't know. I'm just still laughing at that one tape of Selena Gomez going, I'm too old for this shit. Clearly not, and neither am I, so I'm in. Okay, by the way, I have no insider info on that story. And as of this taping, there has not been a divorce announcement, but it does not seem like Justin Bieber is very nice to his wife at all. I did see video and pictures from Coachella. Hailey is driving him around with his buddies in a golf cart. Like, she's the driver. I don't get that. With all that money, get a driver, even for a golf cart at Coachella. But what's the dynamic there? I don't know any of them, but I think they should all separate. I think Hailey should get away from him because I think he treats her like shit. Justin should, we're gonna find out a lot more, I think, because we don't know what's going on with Justin and other matters, if you know what I'm saying. I think you do. And then Selena and Benny are very happy. Good for them. Benny, maybe stay off to the side. She's the star. No offense, but she's the star. I kind of don't want to even know your name. Like, I just want to be like, oh, Selena Gomez found a really nice guy and he's a record producer. Isn't that great? That's all I want. So since we're talking about relationships, I am single, fine. I don't know where I stand on that. And I say that because I have been asked. And I don't know if I'm at the place where I'm just done with men and that part of my life is over. And I don't really feel like I want a date right now. But I just finished my tour, my 75 city tour. So I'm missing that already, of course. But get this, I was in a hotel and housekeeping forgot to clean up a note of the previous tenant at the hotel. And so it's not really appropriate for my act because it's not like jokey per se, but it's really, really juicy. Can I read it to you? First of all, here's the actual note, so you'll know I'm not making anything up, but then I had to have it printed in big font so I can read it. So this is obviously written by a man to a woman. Now, I think because it was written in a little pad next to the phone, this is probably some dude writing down bullet points to have a very serious conversation with his poor girlfriend or wife. All right, you ready? Here we go. No man will love you more. Okay, red flag. We've all heard that guy, right? We've all that guy, and by the way, that guy. Will be more faithful. He totally cheated. Committed to you. Probably has a fear of commitment. So that's his opener. No man will love you more, will be more faithful, committed to you. Your choices, not just the last 30 years, but 10 months have damaged us beyond friendship. Okay, there's a part of me that's like, if you're in for 30 years, just figure it out. Just figure it out. Just say, oh, it was all my fault. But the last 10 months really irked him. So let's see what's going on. I need things you don't have. Oh, here we go with his fucking list. Empathy. Okay, this guy has the nerve to be asking for empathy after saying no man will love you more. Self-awareness. Yeah, he would like you to be a little more self-aware. Think of others before yourself. You kind of said that already. Thinking of how your choices have affected others and how they feel. Now, is this a couple that's been married 30 years and they have kids? Or like he couldn't have said this sooner than 30 years together? Then he says, "You're not my future." Okay, well, if you're in for 30 years, in for a penny, in for a pound. So those 10 months must have been really bad. You're not my future. And then, you ready for this? You're not my true love. Guys, harsh. I can't stand this guy. I don't know him, I can't stand him. I know my value, and I know I deserve better than settling for someone who isn't capable of the morals, values, and integrity that I deserve. Mr. Integrity, who's writing a cheat sheet on a hotel notepad. I can't be with you. Oh, okay, so it's a breakup call. We cannot get together as much as I love you. So he's saying we can never really get together. He's not saying like, oh, we can't get together for brunch. He's saying we just can't get together as much as I love you. So once again, he's Mr. Empathy with the integrity and the morals. I know it would only cause more hurt for both of us. Isn't that nice? He's being considerate of her as well. You still haven't been honest with me about what happened with other guys the past 10 months. Okay, so we know what that means. This guy has been banging some whores for 10 months and he wants to jump the gun and get ahead of it. And so he's accusing her of cheating. After 30 years, she's gonna start cheating 10 months ago? I don't think so, sir. And then he finishes it by saying, I don't see you being honest with yourself. Physician, heal thyself. This guy might as well have read this into a mirror. Sorry. That guy. And I'll tell you why. I've gotten letters like that, and I may have written a couple like that myself over the years. And I just find that to be fascinating. And I'll tell you why. It's none of my business. It's none of my business, and it's none of yours. But wasn't that juicy? Like, oh, I don't see them coming back from that call unless he just bailed and was like, oh, never mind, I'm the cheater anyway. So I wish that there was a series about this that I could tell you what happened, but it's just my own fury at him. And of course, I think it's all his fault. Now, let me tell you about some of the support that I have been getting. First of all, I had surgery last week. I had a radical hysterectomy, which means they took out uterus, fallopian tubes, and ovaries. So the surgeon said I'd be out of commission for 4 to 8 weeks, which I do not accept. But I will say my stomach was distended like a basketball at first, which I wish I would have been warned about. I have stitches on the inside of my abdominal area and on the outside. I won't show you, but they're not bad. They did it laparoscopically, which is like a robot going in. I mean, the surgeon operates the metal arms, but they just go, and they went through my belly button for some reason. I don't know why, but there's a big bruise on my belly button. You know, some stuff I don't want to know, but some stuff I kind of do. I had a nurse with me for the first 72 hours, and I won't tell you about her because I spilled all the juice on my nurse in my Patreon. So please subscribe to my Patreon. It's a new half hour every Monday. All right, so I am good at reaching out. I'm a big believer in reaching out to your friends when you need them. And I've been through many trials and tribulations that you can just Google. And I've really learned to lean on my pals. And by pals, I'm just gonna be honest, it's women and gay guys and lesbians. I'm just saying it's LGBT and then straight chicks. And I actually do have a handful of straight guy buddies that I adore, but like I wouldn't call them and say, will you come spend the night? I've just had surgery and I'm afraid to be alone or whatever. So I'll just name drop because let's be honest, you don't really care about the non-famous folks who stayed over or came to stay with me. But how about this one? One night, Sia came over, the chandelier singer, Sia, and she brought Kristen Wiig. How about that? So those two looked after me, and I was just in my pajamas. We had dinner, and then Sia stayed overnight, and she was my nurse. She's going through a divorce herself. So, you know, it's important that we all get together, especially if we're going through any kind of similar stuff. And then 2 nights ago, Terry Hatcher came over, and let me tell you, I love Terry Hatcher. Now, she was on a show called Lois and Clark for, I think, 5 years, a Superman show. And she survived Dean Cain, who's now a MAGA guy. And Dean was such a bad actor that as the show went on, they had Lois, who Terry Hatcher played, just do more and more. So the show was Lois and Clark, but it was pretty much Lois and Lois. And anyway, they put her through hell on this show. She was always like in mud or getting rained on or being thrown out of a plane or something. So I just love her. And then they developed that show, Desperate Housewives, around her. And you may know this, but Desperate Housewives is what inspired the Real Housewives franchise, because Desperate Housewives was a very expensive, high-end scripted show on ABC. And then Bravo, being Bravo, was like, how can we do this with real people for a fraction of the cost? Hence the Real Housewives, not Desperate Housewives. And so she also survived the alleged high amount of drama that was going on that set with those writer producers as well as the cast and stuff. So anyway, I love Hatcher. Now, the other thing I could tell you that I find fascinating is something like the day after Desperate Housewives, which was a big hit show, the day after it wrapped, or like a couple days after, she joined the Cordon Bleu and she went to college full time, and she is a chef, not a cook, a chef. Cordon Bleu chef. So Hatcher came over and made me dinner. And okay, the other thing I've been doing that's really fun is one of my girlfriends came over, and I have a screening room. I'm very lucky. I have a home theater and it's dreamy. And I said, well, let's go and watch a movie downstairs tonight. You know, I don't use the theater enough. It's so special. We'll make popcorn, the whole thing. I got a big distended stomach. I got a stomach full of stitches. Let's do this. And so we watched an old disaster movie called The Poseidon Adventure. And I think it's from mid-70s, but it is epic. Like if you're looking for a high camp rewatch of a movie that you cannot believe they made. So The Poseidon Adventure starred Gene Hackman, the late great Gene Hackman, who is terrible in this movie. And he is not terrible at anything. He shouts every single line for no reason. He plays a priest but doesn't wear a collar. Then there was an actress named Shelley Winters, who was one of my teachers when I was at the Lee Strasberg Theater Academy back in the day. I'm actually classically trained as an actress. I know you can't tell, but I am. And she would come and hold classes, and she was nominated for an Oscar for this role. You guys, it's so inappropriate. This movie would have been canceled for 17 plot points. Poor Shelley Winters, 2-time Oscar nominee, was so overweight that there's a scene where Gene Hackman is trying to push her ass up a ladder to save her life. And you can tell the director was like, okay, Shelley, sit on Gene's face. And I am not kidding. There is a shot of Shelley Winters' ass nearly smothering the late great Gene Hackman. Anyway, it is an accidental laugh riot. So when Hatcher came over, I go, Hatcher, I watched The Poseidon Adventure the other night. It holds up in such a glorious way, meaning it doesn't hold up at all. Let's watch The Towering Inferno. The Towering Inferno stars Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, Faye Dunaway. I mean, it is a cavalcade of amazing, excellent actors in a terrible movie. I mean, it is awful. You have to see it. And when they cut away to the fire, the special effects are non-existent. It's basically someone took a shoebox, put a little kindling in there and a match, and that's supposed to be a towering inferno. Anyway, highly, highly recommend. Now, one of the reasons I'm a little reticent to get back into the dating scene is, well, I'm just going to come out with it because I'm going to tell the story in chronological order, and I am not making up one word of it. So many years ago, before my second marriage out of two, many years ago, I've been a public person for a while. I know I'm just on the D list, but it's not like, I'm still Kathy Griffin. Or Kathy Griffin, if you want to really say it properly. It's not the easiest thing for me to date, but it's really hard to be a female comic who's known for being wildly inappropriate and then get what I hope for, which is like a normal guy. So I then had my assistant had an assistant who I think also had an assistant. I was working so much. I had a staff of 5 full-time, and one of them was a guy. He was a straight guy, and he was just a really nice guy. And he said, I have a female friend. She's just a platonic friend, but she's just one of those women that kind of knows everybody. And she lives in New York, but she told me that if you ever could get it up to go on a blind date, if you could be Kathy Griffin and still go on a blind date and give it a chance, she is positive there's a ton of guys that would want to go out with you. So of course I'm like, okay. And I was working a lot in New York at the time. I would go to New York, let's say 5 times a year. There wasn't one trip where this girl didn't set me up with a guy. I mean, one guy I met who was the son of a senator, and I met him at the Soho House in New York. I'm not a member of the Soho House. I don't even know if I could get in. He was kind of a dick, but I just thought, that's okay, Kathy, you're just practicing. Just practice being on a date. And we just kind of sat there and tried to talk and didn't really have anything in common. And I wanted to talk about his mom, who was a senator, and he didn't. And that was about it. These were all non-showbiz guys. So one time she sent me a picture and she's like, this guy wants to go out with you. And it was a picture of a guy in full SWAT gear. Now, I have a fear of law enforcement after my Trump photo scandal that I won't go into, but I just do. And this was prior to the Trump photo. And I will tell you, and I'm just gonna admit this guy was smoking hot. And I don't just mean he was cute. He was in gear. I couldn't totally tell what he looked like, but something even just about that picture was like, I can totally see me with a SWAT team member. That makes sense somehow. I knew this girl pretty well by then. She was a dancer. She was a ballet dancer. And I thought, ballet dancers know a lot of guys. I said, where do you think I should go on the date? And she just picked a restaurant. I was staying downtown. So she said, is it okay if the guy meets you in the lobby of your hotel? And I said, sure, as long as he's a friend of yours and he's safe, I'm not gonna let him up to the hotel room. So she's like, oh yeah, he's a great guy. So I go downstairs in the lobby of the hotel for a date. And once again, this guy is just sexy. It's not even that he was classically beautiful. He was a handsome guy. But you know how some guys just have that sex appeal, and he just had it. And he looked at me like he thought I was sexy. And I was like, whoa, okay, don't tell me something's gonna work out for once in my life in the romance department. So we went out to dinner. He was kind of rough around the edges, but in a way that I liked. And he obviously had a very interesting job, and he was inquisitive about my work. And we actually had a really great flow going of conversation in a way that I had not had on a date almost in recent memory. We go back to the hotel, we kissed. I can't remember if and I remember he was ultra protective, which is part of his job. And I admit there was a twisted girly side of me that really liked that. And I'm a diehard feminist, but I have to admit it was nice being with a guy that was kind of looking around to see if anybody was going to approach me in a weird way. And I have had many, many weird experiences with the public, more than almost any of my famous friends, because of because of what I elicit in people, which is a love or hate type of feeling. I'm polarizing. We're talking and we're kissing, and I'm thinking, oh, I shouldn't f him on the first date. So we don't. Then he goes home, calls me as soon as he gets home. We're talking more. I remember I was so like feeling high that I actually went for a walk around Manhattan, and I'm picturing my life as Kathy Griffin, Mrs. SWAT team member, and we're gonna live in this neighborhood. No, we'll live in Gramercy Park. Well, wherever is safe. Oh, he'll make any place safe. And we'll talk and talk and talk. And I finally connected with somebody when I thought I never could again. You know, he was calling me. And then he kind of started ghosting me. Now, I had gone back to Los Angeles. And so I thought, okay, well, he's putting it together and thinking there's no way we can go forward if we live across the country from each other. And I really am not into long distance relationships. I'm getting there. Finally get him on the phone. And it had been maybe 3 months since that magical night. And I finally just came out and said, you know, I feel like you're kind of ghosting me. I don't want to be the one that's initiating calls. Am I reading this correctly? What's going on? And then he just confesses the whole thing. He goes, well, I actually have a girlfriend and we live together and we've been together for a while. And I said, oh, ouch. I did not see that coming. You really, I mean, you told me you were single and that you were looking for somebody. And then he said, my hand to God, he goes, I know, I just wanted to know, well, and he hemmed and hawed, I just wanted to know what it would be like to go out with a celebrity. And of course I was like, and I'm the best you could do. So I ran back to my girlfriend who fixed us up. And I go, by the way, your buddy that I clicked with lives with his girlfriend and had no intention of ever seeing me again. And like this whole thing has been like a game to him. And, you know, what's the deal with this guy? I mean, how long have you known him? Well, she then ghosted me. So I found out later from the assistant's assistant who was friends with her, this dancer girl in New York was actually a high-end madam, and I was one of her hookers. Yes, I am Kathy Griffin, former hooker of a high-end madam agency in New York City, and this was pre-Tinder. So I guess the guys that went out with me paid her a fee because I didn't, or she was just starting and thought even D-list Kathy Griffin might get a few guys to pick up the phone. And they did. I mean, she probably fixed me up with 12 guys. I'm not kidding. And I never knew the whole time. I was just, so it turns out she would just troll clubs or bars or whatever, and she would either meet them on her own in person, and she's a really pretty girl, so I can see her just meeting any guy she wants, or she would go on Facebook. And that's why she sent me a picture of this guy in his SWAT gear, because that was his Facebook profile picture. And I was so naive that I didn't know how to like spy on a guy or how to even really look him up online or anything. I named one of my comedy specials Kathy Griffin Tired Hooker, and I didn't know when I named the special that I am in fact a tired hooker. I'm an ex-hooker. I don't do it anymore. All right, you guys, this has been so much fun. It's so revealing. I'm sweating now just revealing that because you guys know it's all true. I will see you guys next week. Like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe and leave your comments about what you like about the show, what you would like to see more of. We're building this show together and I appreciate them so, so much. So I'll see you guys next week and thank you for watching Kathy Griffin Talk Your Head Off.